Penny Johnson, the director of the Government Art Collection, talks to the artist Grayson Perry about his work, Print for a Politician. The interview took place in the office of the Minister for Culture and Tourism, Margaret Hodge.
I'd like to ask you about the starting point for Print for a Politician, and also when you were making it, do you think you were going to call it Print for a Politician?
Well, the starting point was looking at, I think, the print I could really remember it sparking off of is the map of Venice. I think it's a 16th century map, and it hung in the foyer of the print department of the British Museum for a long time, and that was certainly one of my inspirations. And then also I was looking at Henry Darger and that format, and of course Chinese scroll painting and those very long, thin, and I think it was that idea of a kind of playscape. There's something of this format that is like having a kind of train set laid out in front of you on which you can play. And for me, it was about setting up a space in which I could just riff and play. Because when I start off, once I've got the basic composition, like with this, it started with the idea of the kind of meandering division, the trenches in the middle, and then the two cities. And once I'd have pretty well established where the main lumps of stuff would be in the thing, it's just I start in the top left-hand corner and work my way to the bottom right, and that's how I work. And I don't think I titled it until afterwards. I think that just came to, because a lot of the title is very much to do with the concept of the piece, but most of my concepts are post-rationalization. So I just make the thing I want to make, and then I think up what it's about later.
What about the particular groups that you have in Print for a Politician?
Well, I just made a list off the top of my head, and then I realised I didn't have certain areas. I think religion was a particular area I didn't have that. I didn't really know what were the major religions of the world, so I researched it, and literally by population, I sort of got the top, 20 or 30 religions. And so I'd never heard of, say, the Mahayana Buddhists, but they figured very highly up in terms of demographic. I wanted to make it a kind of democratic thing in terms of religion, and then I just sort of thought of all the groups that I usually try to think of an opposite, so that somewhere in the print there's the opposite of one of the groups. It's not a watertight thing, but it's pretty much there.
Tell us about the references.
I mean, I'm very aware that my imagination is not a limitless source. So I use a lot of books and reference materials when I'm making some of this. And I didn't want to make this a kind of specific place, a landscape. And so I took it from all eras. So even the aeroplanes, you've got 3 aeroplanes flying over here. You've got a kind of World War II fighter, a modern jet, and a World War I fighter. And you've got tanks and vehicles from all different eras. And the buildings as well, there's like a sort of Bauhaus concrete block. There's a kind of a Gothic building, a kind of sort of Art Nouveau, Georgian, Victorian lighthouse, and a Chinese pagoda. So obviously there's things that I prefer to other things. So in the end, what I choose is what I like, and some of the individual little groups sort of show my preferences. So there's like lots of little folk costumes, because I like folk costumes, and also I'm very keen on kind of like most transvestites, I'm very keen on Victorian fashion, because that's the kind of kinkiest era, if you like. And then there's motifs that crop up a lot in my work, which is like, say, people being hanged are quite common. So up here we've got civil servants all being hanged, which is again very appropriate for this environment.
So now you're seeing your work, Print for a Politician, on the wall of a politician in their office. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's fantastic it's here in Margaret Hodge's office, but I also feel that, great, it's just a print. It's not a lobby group, but it has that silent power of an artwork, and I'm not a great believer that art. I joke that I say that I'm not an artist anymore, I'm an engine for social change. and that is because there's also a kind of feeling of I don't have that power to really do anything. You know, an artwork has a sort of different sort of power where you just put it up there, and if something happens, great. I mean, I don't believe Picasso's Guernica is going to stop going to war. They just hang a curtain over it as they did at the UN. You know? So I've got no faith that this print will, you know, some government minister will they'll be in here having a meeting. What should we do about these people? Hang on, yes, paedophiles are human beings as well. We should think about this. I can't believe that's going to happen because they're going to have the sort of baying kind of black and white vision of the world that the media has ringing in their ears. And this print, you know, which is a quiet, more contemplative call for kind of a balanced view of the world, perhaps will be drowned out.
Better to be here than not.
Oh yeah, no, fantastic. Yeah, I'm not going to. No, I'm delighted that it ended up in a minister's office. It's, you know, what more could I ask for? It's at the, you know, apogee of its function.